Welcome to the public information session regarding the current flooding situation within the Thompson-Nicola Regional District. Today is November 29th. It's 2 p.m. My name's Priscilla Kazarian. I'm the current acting information officer for the Thompson-Nicola Regional District's Emergency Operations Center. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that we connect with many First Nations communities across our vast regional district. And today we're located on the Kamloops-Tishoquepnik territory, situated within the unceded ancestral lands of the Secwepemc Nation. The TRD appreciates the partnership that we have and respect the beautiful lands and territory on which we're meeting today. So we have a little bit of a full agenda for today. Firstly, starting with the overview of our presenters, which includes the Ministry of Transportation, BC Hydro, and the Interior Health Authority to provide an update on behalf of each of their agencies. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and it will be posted on the Thompson-Nicola Regional District website after the meeting, as well as our Facebook and our Twitter channels, and obviously our YouTube channels. Once we've gone through our updates with our agencies this afternoon, I will also be presenting an update from the Emergency Operations Center within the Thompson-Nicola Regional District. So I asked the presenters today, once it's your opportunity here to present, if you could please state your name as well as your position and which agency you're reporting with. And without further ado, I'd like to hand it over firstly to the Ministry of Transportation.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's Karen Andrews. I'm reporting from the Kamloops DOC here. I'll start with just an update on our highway status. So Highway 3, the Hope to Princeton section, opened to traffic today at 1:30 for central traffic only. This route is designated for heavy commercial vehicles. Checkpoints are in place to ensure traffic is limited to essential travel only. Highway 5A is open. Highway 99 is open to essential travel only between Lillooet and Pemberton. This route is designated for passenger vehicles and vehicles under 14.5 gross vehicle weight. Highway 1 is open from Spence's Bridge to Kamloops, but will remain closed between Lytton and Boston Bar until January. Highway 5, Coquihalla, closed. MOT has put a targeted reopening for the end of January. The initial opening will be for commercial vehicles. Highway 8 is closed. This will be a long-term closure due to the significant damage. Again, for highway closures, we just ask people to keep up to date checking Drive BC for the most current information. I was asked to give a brief side road update on some specific roads. So Brookmere, Coalmont access to Brookmere from Highway 5A. This road is open with YRB, our maintenance contractor, maintaining it. Kingsvale number 2 bridge, Gillis Road, is open. There is riprap being placed and widened to accommodate the CRBs and reduce steep banks and reinforce upstream river left bank. Patchett Bridge is open. There's a detour around there. YRB was able to reinforce riprap before increased water levels. There was a question about Highway 8 FSR access roads. The ministry is currently working with Flinro on an agreement to allow us to do some maintenance. We'll update and have more information on that at a later date. Is there any questions?
In the chat, is there a general line or somewhere we can direct the public if they do have any questions?
Yeah, I think initially just for general questions to continue to look at the Drive BC website. That's where we're doing our most current updating.
Perfect. We do have one question here, Karen, in the chat. What access to First Nations reserves in Nicola Valley? And if you can't answer that on the spot here, obviously Drive BC is a great resource for that question. But
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm working from out of the area, so I'm not familiar with all the routes in there, but I can certainly get the name of the person with that specific question, and we can send an email to confirm.
Perfect. Yeah, it looks like the name is in the chat there. So
perfect.
Okay. Other than that, that's great. Thanks for your update.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I'm going to now pass it over to the Interior Health Authority. Again, if you could state your names and your position prior to your update, that would be great.
Hi there, it's Ian Wood. I am Director of Clinical Operations for Thompson South Caribou Primary Community Care. I will be giving updates on the clinical operations piece for MVH today. So we, as announced, the emergency department has opened up today as effective noon and closing at the hours of 18:30 or 6:30 p.m. We'll be running through the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with 7:30 to 18:30 or 6:30 p.m. also known as. So we'll run with those hours through the week, no changes there. We will have COVID testing back again at the site, same location as it was previously to the flood. This will be running Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 o'clock until 3 p.m. Lots of space available. I just checked on the site, so there's still spaces available for Wednesday. We'll also have vaccine as previously planned for December 1st and 2nd of this week. Those hours will be running from 9 until 4 o'clock p.m. And we also, so this will be available for the dose 1, dose 2 drop-ins. And we also have boosters and ages 5 to 11 appointment only. So please remember to register prior to getting those 2 groups in. Other than that, that is the update for the MVH clinical ops.
Hi there, Amanda Anderson from the Environmental Assessment Group with Interior Health. We don't really have further updates from the last call, but I would imagine that everybody has had potentially an opportunity to go in, the majority for that initial visit. So I just want to reiterate that really want to take some time and some breaks when you go in there to your home for cleaning up, and please try to reach out for help. Just acknowledge that this is a traumatic event, and after the wildfires, that we definitely want to acknowledge that we need to do some preparation and planning and documentation. So just make sure that you're taking lots of pictures. That's something that your insurances will want to have, and that your cell phone is fully charged, that you've got a pen and paper and you're documenting everything. If you don't have insurance, there is Red Cross. That's an available resource, and you can find their link on our website under our flooding and mudslides website on interiorhealth.ca. When it comes to your fridges and freezers, there might have been some power outages. So that's again something that you'll want to contact your insurance provider for before you dispose of anything. If it has been a long time, you might just choose to duct tape it closed rather than clean it out. But there is a lot of information on our website in regards to cleaning up after a flood. So just be sure that you're bringing in lots of water and cleaning supplies. So you want to wear gloves and other personal protective equipment. Again, take breaks, pace yourself. If you've got your own well, ensure that you look into well disinfection. We do have more resources on our website in regards to that, but you'll want to look at shocking it, flushing it, and you can contact an environmental health officer if you need some more information. And that also goes for your septic system. If you believe that that's been damaged or has been impacted by the floodwaters or fully saturated, you can connect with an approved person We do have information again on our website on how to locate somebody like that to do an assessment to make sure that your septic system is running properly. There's other resources there as well to help out with how to do that assessment on your own. And lastly, I just wanted to say that just, take some time and have some reflection on your own mental health. I know that this could be a time of great adrenaline as well. So there is resources on the Canadian Mental Health Society. So if you're finding yourself overwhelmed, please reach out. Thanks.
I'm just going to jump in if that's okay. It's Ian Wood again. I see there's a couple questions in the chat about vaccines. Are the vaccines being given in the same locations as COVID testing? The COVID vaccine testing as well as the vaccine administration are held in two separate areas. There'll be signage on site, so when people come up to the hospital, they'll be directed for testing. There'll be signs and sandwich boards up so people know where the testing is and where the boosters are. And where is the emergency room referred to by myself? It is in the hospital. I can put the address of the hospital in the chat, so that's available for everybody. It is Nicola Valley Hospital and the Health Center, so it includes all these services.
Else from Interior Health Authority before we move on? No. Okay, perfect. So next up we have BC Hydro on the line.
Yeah, hi, it's Sally McDonald here from Community Relations at BC Hydro. So we have currently there are 330 customers who are without power in the Thompson-Nicola region, 91 customers along the Highway 8 corridor, 137 in Merritt, and 111 between Merritt and Brookmere. We're working today in the Merritt and the Coldwater Road areas, and we're carefully watching the weather system, and we'll be able to safely demobilize our crews should the weather demand it, so that we can continue to respond to outages and help as much as we can. So we're also supporting MOTI and other agencies along Highway 1, Highway 8, Highway 5 and Coldwater Road with restoration efforts there. And that work includes providing, gaining access and building stable ground that our infrastructure can be built onto. We're attempting to drive into the Highway 8 area and around Dot Ranch later today via a Flynn Row access road, a forestry road, to assess repairs along that route. That damage assessment trip, it will depend on weather and the communications being secured for that area. The customers who are out in the Thompson-Nicola region, we don't yet have an estimated restoration time because it will depend on the rebuilding of our infrastructure in those areas. Up-to-date information about current outages is available on our website at bchydro.com. I also wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that BC Hydro has financial help available for evacuees in the form of bill credits. So residential and commercial customers who have been affected by evacuation orders are eligible to receive a credit for the electricity that was consumed at your address for the duration of the time that you're out of your home, if that evacuation order is for 5 days or longer. You don't need to let us know that that applies to you. We monitor evacuation orders and automatically apply those bill credits to your account for the time that you were out of your home. We also offer flexible bill payment plans for customers who are going through this terrible turmoil and may have lost your homes or have damage at your home. If you're having trouble paying your hydro bill down the road, we can help you create a flexible payment plan. For residential customers whose homes were tragically destroyed as a result of the flood, we'll automatically waive all electricity charges since the previous billing period. including for electricity that was used prior to the evacuation order. So waiving those charges means that you won't receive a final bill for your account at all. And again, that will be automatically applied to your account. We monitor for places that are affected and make those changes to your account. And if you do choose to rebuild your home in its current location, we also will waive the reconnection fee for your new home. Interior Health brought up the subject of food safety earlier, and whether power outages would have affected the food safety in your fridge and freezer. Unfortunately, due to the extent of the damage in the area, we're not able to provide each individual customer with a time frame of how long the power has been out at your address. But we do know that many of our customers in the area will have been out for 48 hours or longer. We suggest that you review the Canadian Food Inspection Agency's guidelines on safe food storage and make decisions according to those guidelines, which is basically a full fridge can keep food cold for about 4 hours. A full freezer can keep food frozen for up to 48 hours and less if the freezer is not as full. But again, those are the Canadian Food Inspection Agency's guidelines, and we recommend that you look into those and make those decisions accordingly. That's all the information that I wanted to share today. I do see there's a question there about infrastructure damage that we've suffered. We've estimated, particularly along the Highway 8 corridor, that there are around at least 75 power poles that have been lost due to the damage from the flood. That's the kind of infrastructure damage that we're talking about, is, you know, the poles have just been completely swept away in that area. I hope that answers that question. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I don't see any other questions in the chat for now, so we will continue on. Thank you to all our agency panelists. Feel free to stay and tune in for the rest of the information session, but we realize how busy you are right now, so if you have to run, no hard feelings. So we're going to continue on. So I do have an update here from the Thompson-Nicola Regional District's Emergency Operations Center. Yesterday, we did issue a flood warning in conjunction with the BC River Forecast Center. This flood warning was for the Coldwater River and Nicola River downstream the Coldwater River. So for those who are on our buoyant alerting system, you would have received this. This was an informational update only, so there was really no action needed other than being prepared in the case of emergency evacuation order. But a summary of key events include, this was as of yesterday at 6 p.m. The Coldwater River near Brookmere appears to be peaking at approximately 100 meters between 5-year and 10-year flow at 4 o'clock, and it was beginning to recede at that time. The Coldwater River near Merritt was also flowing and rising, and the Spies Creek near Canford also reached a level of 2.568 meters. And this was that in the afternoon. It was starting to recede at that time. So a flood warning means that the river levels have exceeded bankful or will exceed bankful imminently. And that flooding of the areas adjacent to the rivers will be affected or potentially be affected. There's a risk for that, or will be as a result. So I will actually just share my screen because the BC River Forecast Center's website is definitely a great resource for that. So I am going to share what I'm talking about. So for those of you who can see my screen, this is the River Forecast Center's webpage. In order to actually look at the flood warnings and advisories, there's a link here. In order to get to this webpage, it's easy enough. Searching River Forecast Center BC, it should come up in Google. So flood warnings and advisories, and As you can see, it's also an interactive dashboard here. So you can also zoom. You can see this area here in the red. And again, the definition, river levels have exceeded bankful or will exceed bankful imminently, and that flooding of areas adjacent to the rivers affected will resolve. So based from this information, I'm actually just going to change my pace here and actually my screen to show you our evacuation order dashboard. Anyone on the call here today can access the same dashboard by going to the TNRD website. That's the Thompson-Nicola Regional District's website, and review and go on to our evacuation orders, our most current orders. It's at the top. It's the red banner, and you'll see our evacuation status dashboard link. So once you've received or arrived there, you'll see the same screen. So just as a little bit more of an explanation, if you haven't been on this call or haven't seen this dashboard before, the yellow-orange color means an alert. And as you can see here on the right-hand side, we have 3 active alerts. This is for areas M, N, and I. And again, this is due to the flood warnings and advisories that are currently in effect. We do have 11 evacuation orders active on our dashboard right now, the most recent being for 5 properties in electoral area N. In order to review some more detailed information with regards to evacuation orders. And again, this is for 56 properties. I think I just said 5, but I meant 56 properties in electoral area N. In order to review that, again, going on to our Thompson-Nicola Regional District website, but you can also use this interactive dashboard. If you're searching for a specific address, you can see here there's the magnifying glass. You can search specific addresses in here. You can also see the different colors along the map here. So the darker red is the evacuation orders issued by the Thompson-Nicola Regional District. And the lighter red is surrounding areas and could be other communities or municipalities. So as you can see, once you zoom in and you click the red, there's some additional information that comes up. So atmospheric river flooding, including in that jurisdiction, is an evacuation order. So this is the best way to reference our evacuation orders and alerts. Also going on our Thompson-Nicola Regional District webpage. Okay, so next up, I do want to mention as well, I will share my screen again in a minute as we do have some additional information with regards to the disaster financial assistance program. So for those of you, I suggest staying on because I will be showing a previous recorded session around the disaster financial assistance program from Emergency Management BC. But before I do that, I do want to talk about our Resiliency Center. So the Thompson-Nicola Regional District and the City of Merritt have opened a Resiliency Center to provide ongoing flood support to flood-affected areas and residents in all surrounding communities. So the Resiliency Center is open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it's located at the Merritt Civic Center. That's the address is 1950 Mamet, M-A-M-E-T-T-E Avenue. Again, this is the Resiliency Center to provide ongoing support to flood-affected residents. So the point of the Resiliency Center is to help answer questions and provide resources for flood evacuees and residents returning home. So this is a good place to go if you're looking for more information around fridge and freezer disposal, or maybe some more information around resources, including the Disaster Financial Assistance Program, which again, we'll go over that presentation in a moment here. So the Insurance Bureau of Canada and a number of insurance companies will be available to provide advice and help to property owners to file insurance claims. Other agencies include the Red Cross, Emergency Social Services on site, as well as I mentioned, the Disaster Financial Assistance Program, and also Disaster Psychosocial Services. The Insurance Bureau of Canada and a number of insurance companies will be able to provide advice with regards to filing insurance claims, which I just mentioned, as well as Other agencies that will have additional helpful information include Interior Health, as they were also on the call today, provided an excellent update. Other agencies include the First Nations Health Authority, Service BC, ICBC, and TNRD and Merit Debris Management Services. So if you have any questions with regards to the Resiliency Center, I mentioned the location, but you can also email tnrdrecovery@tnrd.ca. That's if you have any specific questions regarding the Resiliency Center. This is tnrdrecovery@tnrd.ca. So I am actually just going to move on now with regards to the Disaster Financial Assistance Program. So for those of you who were on the call last time, it'll be the same presentation we had. For those of you who were not on the call last time and haven't reviewed the last call, I do suggest you stick around and see the information regarding the Disaster Financial Assistance Program. So I'm just going to share my screen.
Valentine, and I am a recovery officer with the Community Recovery Branch at Emergency Management BC. Our unit administers the Disaster Financial Assistance Program, DFA. I know that many of you have been affected by the flooding, and I want to let you know that we're committed to helping you. The DFA team are prepared to do everything we can to help you get financial assistance as quickly as possible and are bringing in extra staff to assist with this. We are here as part of a broader community response. With the help of your community, friends, family, volunteers, support groups, and local businesses, and DFA from the province, the goal is that together we can help you recover from this disaster. I'm going to take an opportunity to give you a brief overview of the DFA program, how to apply, and at the end, I'll walk you through the online process. Next slide, please. DFA is a provincial program that operates under the Emergency Program Act. Our goal is to provide the maximum help we can within our program's regulation. Who is eligible and what items we cover is based on legislation. Every application is evaluated using the same criteria, and the compensation we pay is consistent for every event, regardless of the type of disaster or where you're located. You will also need to know that DFA is a limited program that helps replace or restore essential items and personal property that has been lost or destroyed. DFA alone can't cover all your losses. It is not insurance, but we can help restore the essentials to make sure that you have a roof over your head and that your home is safe and dry. DFA is authorized for disasters such as flooding, where losses are not insurable and other programs are not available. I would encourage you to contact your insurer as a first step, and they will determine if any portion of the damage is considered an insurable loss. Before your file is assigned to the field evaluator, we will contact you to discuss your insurance, the specifics of your situation, and provide direction on what documentation will be needed. If you're an eligible small business or farm owner, we can compensate for essential items that have been damaged or destroyed by this flood. In brief, to be eligible for DFA as a homeowner, it must be your principal residence and there must be more than $1,000 of eligible damage. Financial assistance is calculated by the total amount to repair or replace eligible items, less $1,000 deductible, and then paid at 80%. Next slide, please. Now, the steps to apply. Number one, confirm the date and the area you live in has a declared event. Number two would be determine that the category you're going to apply for. And number three, to apply for DFA, you need to complete and sign the first 2 pages for the homeowner and the 3 pages for the small business and farms of the DFA application. The Appendix A and B, the cleanup log and content list attached to the application do not need to be submitted with the application. These documents can track cleanup hours and damaged items by room. These 2 documents can be provided to the evaluator along with receipts and any photos during the site inspection. You can also have your broker complete the insurance template and have it mailed directly back to our office, or emailed would be preferred. If you are applying for a small business or farm owner, this needs to be your major source of income. Please be aware that the program will be asking for the financial information listed on the application to establish this. To expedite this process, it would be beneficial to have that information readily available when requested by the recovery officer. Number 4, once you've got the application is received in our office, it will be reviewed to ensure that it meets the eligibility criteria. Once this has been established, your file is assigned to an evaluator who will contact you to discuss the next steps and potentially set up a site visit. After the site visit, the evaluator will submit a report to our office where it is reviewed to determine if eligible and the payment is authorized. We then email or mail the applicant the confirmation letter followed by a check. Next slide, please. Now, how do you find the DFA program? You can go on to any web browser such as Google Chrome Explorer and type in the search box DFA space BC. And the first hit that will choose our program right at the top. Click with your mouse and the next slide, please. After you're clicking on this page, you'll see that will get you right on to financial assistance for the homeowner and the farms and small businesses. And from there, you'll be able to apply with step number 3. Next slide, please. So once again, how do you contact DFA? We're available at our toll-free line, 1-888-257-4777. And you can obviously email us as well to our generic inbox, dfa@gov.bc.ca. And I will be available for a few more minutes to take questions.
For those of you who are on the call, I have a couple of questions here in the chat. So I'm just going to read through. How many people remain evacuated in the regional district? So in order to review any of our updates with regards to evacuation orders and alerts, you can go onto our interactive dashboard. Unfortunately, I don't have the actual total number who are on evacuation order, but I do know that yesterday we did issue the evacuation order for 56 properties. But if you have any specific questions that the TNRD Emergency Operation Center can provide you that information if you email emergency@tnrd.ca. Again, that's emergency@tnrd.ca, and I can follow up with you with regards to more information that way. And so there's also some additional questions here in the chat. Regarding other areas such as First Nations reserves along Highway 8 and other areas that the Thompson-Nicola Regional District, TNRD here today, can't necessarily enlighten you on with regards to that information. So what I would suggest is to reach out to those other governing bodies and First Nations to inquire about further information for those areas. And again, you can reach out to us at emergency@tnrd.ca. You can also call our emergency operation lines number, which is 250-377-7188. There's another question here around who I am. So my name is Priscilla Kazarian. I'm the current acting information officer with the Thompson-Nicola Regional District's Emergency Operations Center. And the other question was, does the DFA apply to First Nations residents? And that is correct. It does apply to First Nations residents as well as regional districts and municipalities in the geographic area in which the DFA covers. So what I would suggest for further information, again, you can contact our Resiliency Center But also another great way to find more information around the DFA, the Disaster Financial Assistance Program, is going on to the Emergency Management BC's DFA application page. And again, like Shelley mentioned in the recording, was to actually search in Google DFA BC, and it's the first link that comes up, and you can review the application and who it's applicable to on that webpage. So I hope that answers the majority of questions. Again, you can reach out to our Emergency Operations Center, 250-377-7188, or emergency@tnrd.ca. We are currently operating 7 days a week. The hours do vary based off of need. Right now it's from 8 a.m. to around 5 p.m. We do want to thank all residents who have signed up for our Voyant alerting system. We do issue evacuation orders and alerts and informational notices via our Voyant alerting system. So if you're a Thompson-Nicola Regional District resident and you have not already signed up for this alerting system, we highly recommend that you do so. The alerts come to, you can choose, they can come to your home phone, they can be issued to your cell phone. There's a variety of ways to be notified of emergencies within the Thompson-Nicola Regional District. So highly recommending that you register for that system. We also update our webpage consistently, as well as Facebook and Twitter. Like I mentioned before, and I showed my screen for our interactive dashboard map, so you can find out for current alerts and orders within the Thompson-Nicola Regional District on our interactive map. Like Karen earlier today, Sally, it was Karen who mentioned earlier with regards to Drive BC's website. So that's the best way to keep updated on any road closures, conditions, or if you're interested on what routes are open, depending on where you want to go. Drive BC's website's the best for that. And also, like I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation today, this presentation is recorded and it's posted on our YouTube channel. And we will also be sharing the link out via Facebook and Twitter. I do believe that's all we have from the TNRD's Emergency Operations Center. Again, if you have any further questions for us, feel free to reach out via email or phone. We do try to hold these public information sessions consistently throughout emergencies. So we're hoping to have another one within the coming days. Again, stay safe out there. We're very sorry and sympathetic for what's going on within the Thompson-Nicola Regional District right now. And the main concern is the safety of the public and the people. So again, stay safe, keep up to date on all those channels, ensuring that you're aware of where the alerts are and where the evacuation orders are. And if you go onto the Emergency Management BC page, there's many resources on how to be prepared and stay safe at this time, as well as the Interior Health website. So that's all for today. Thanks for attending, and we'll be posting this recorded session as soon as possible. Have a good day and stay safe.